Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Roman Zakharov, and I say you hello from Helsinki. It's a pleasure to introduce Elena Bazina, Senior Quality Assurance Analyst at King, currently working with Candy Crush Saga, a truly legendary puzzle game. She has more than 5 years of experience in quality assurance, mainly working in the mobile gaming industry. Elena coaches teams to develop high-quality games and to adopt agile testing approach. Today, she is going to tell you about advanced strategies to eliminate bugs in production. Elena, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Imagine you are a firefighter. What do you think you will be doing at work most of the time? Fighting with fires, Captain Obvious, you might think? And this is actually a wrong answer. So, actually, 20% of your work will be dedicated to different educations, inspections, basically to teach people how to behave and prevent fires as much as you can. 10% of your work, you will be actually doing the work, fighting with fires, and the rest, which is 70%, you will be developing different strategies and plans how to deal with different types of fire, who is doing what, how you share your responsibilities, make different decisions. So for me, this exact moment, when I saw a team of firefighters at work, became an eye-opener for me. Maybe here I also need to explain what actually happened. So it was an old pizzeria that was burning near my house, and it's ended up kind of okayish. Of course, they lost a lot of money, but at least no one was injured and no one died. And for me, it was the first time when I saw a team of firefighters so close, how they're working. And when I saw how they're acting, how they're communicating with each other, how they're making decisions, it actually became very revolutionary for me. I changed my vision on actually my profession as a QA analyst. And today, here, I'm very excited to share with you with my learnings and what I have come up with. So my name is Elena Bazina. I work as a senior QA analyst at King, and today we'll be talking about how to tame bugs in production, or how to create successful bug managing strategy using 5 steps. First, let me tell you a couple of words about me. So I have more than 6 years of experience in the QA field working with mobile games. I work at King and I work with Candy Crush Saga. Probably some of you have heard about this game, and in case you haven't, here is a small recap about the game. So it's a match 3 game. Casual, it was launched in 2012. It's the 6th highest grossing mobile game of all time, and we have 255 million monthly active users across different platforms. It's the data according to Q2 this year. And franchise has been downloaded billion of times and trillion of rounds played since launch. So what you can see from this slide, it's a very big responsibility to be a QA analyst in this game. We have a big database of our players, and also, as you can see, the game is quite old. It means that we have a lot of features that we need to maintain and to take care of. And this is how we work with Candy Crush. So we have a lot of people working with this game, and we are divided according to different areas. So, for example, there is one area that is content, the developers who are producing content. Then there is area who is responsible for in-app purchases. It's also very important, right? And my area, which is the best, of course, is ads. When I say ads, I don't mean advertising Candy Crush for getting more players. It is actually the ads that were showing in the game. Or actually, maybe the right word here is not showing, but offering. And this is I'm very proud of. So in Candy, we never throw a video to a player right in their face, so they have to watch it. There is always a choice. So players initiate these ads themselves because they provide them some valuable things, for example, boosters, extra lives, just to make Candy a little bit more fun and the experience a little bit more rich. So this is how the ad in-game work. So we have a game part, right? We have nice feature in game, and this is my team that is developing this feature. So our main goal is to make this feature fun. It needs to be appealing, so player wants to interact with it, and it also needs to provide some meaningful reward at the end. So you watch an ad and you get something in exchange, and this something that you're getting from the ad should be meaningful for you, to the player. But when you press on this exact button, open, in this, for example, map balloon, you go to third parties SDKs. And here, we actually don't have any control of it at all. In fact, we're treating this part, when you go to watch an ad, as, for example, when you're leaving our game and doing something else, like checking social media, WhatsApp, whatever. So, of course, collaborating with third parties, with our ads providers, who is Facebook and Google, very much. We try to be up to date. What are they developing? What do these SDKs contain? And test as much as we can. But it's you never control it yourself. You have the information that they're willing to share with you, and based on this information you can make certain decisions, but you never control it. And for me, as a QA, it was always the biggest pain in my working life, because I had this goal. You're a QA, you need to have 0 bugs in production, and I really believed that this was my goal. And when there were some bugs in production, I thought about it as my failure. Okay, what did I do wrong? Why this happened? Maybe I need to do some extra steps. Maybe I need to it was always an incident for me, something extraordinary. And then when I saw these firefighters, I was thinking like, oh my God, they are fighting with fires, and they're treating fires as something normal. And this is fires and bugs. Of course, they're not even going in any comparison. If you have a super bad bug in your game, it's just a game. And when I'm speaking about fires, it's of course people's life. But when they were handling the fire, they were acting like fire is something normal. Of course, it's bad, but it's normal, and we're here to handle it, to manage it. So basically, when you have, and I decided that we can also have the same approach to our bugs in the company, in our game, in our team. So of course, when there is a bug in production, what can you do? You can panic, as I was doing always. You can, of course, maybe do nothing, completely chill out. I also doubt it's a good idea. Or you can create a good plan, practice this plan, and make sure that everything is under control and you are not stressing too much and you are acting as a professional. So here, some things that you need to take in mind if you want to create a successful bug managing strategy. First and foremost, and the most important thing, is to normalize bugs. I think we need to understand that bugs are normal. It's okay to have bugs. The only way to avoid bugs in production is actually just stop producing anything. If you don't produce anything, you don't have bugs. And of course, you need to fix bugs, you need to learn from your bugs, but it's all right to have bugs and you need to be okay with it. And you shouldn't have this goal to have 0 bugs in production that I had before, because it's unrealistic. And because it's unrealistic, it will just stress you out and do no good to yourself as a person or your company or your product. Then you need to decide clear steps. And more detailed they are, of course, they need to be written down. And more detailed they are, clearer they are, is better, and they're more helpful. I even suggest you write this like a code logic, right? You say, okay, bug is major, yes or not, and then you go to different ways from here to different parts. So I suggest it to be very detailed and very clear. Then you, of course, need to identify who is doing what. And here, I don't necessarily mean to put some names here, you do this and you do this, but to identify roles, what roles are responsible for handling certain situations. So these people, in case something happens, in case there is an incident, they know that it will be expected from them to to act in a certain way. So whenever something happens, you don't have to run around and just collect all these people. People will try to organize themselves, and whenever something happens, they will be ready to help because they know that it's expected from them. And of course, you need to create a channel to communication among these people. Let's call it incident group, who is dealing with bugs, who is investigating why this bug appeared in production and try to fix it as soon as possible, of course. And then you need also to have a good way to communication to the rest of the company. What is happening? I mean, what is the current status of this bug? And also, it is important to consider if you want to communicate with your customers, players, stakeholders, so they also have relevant information that is up to date and they can easily access it. And then also, I think it's also very, very important that you don't let your development work will be impacted. I know some teams tend, especially small teams in some startups, because it's so important for you to have this game and to do it right. Whenever there is a bug, they just stop doing what they're doing in this time and just focusing all of them on fixing the bug, investigating the bug. And I think it is a really wrong approach. You shouldn't. You should still developing awesome features, developing awesome product, improving quality, while investigating the bug. You need to. Maybe here it sounds like it's too much work you need to develop. At the same time, you need to also produce something, but I will also try to elaborate a little bit later about this thing. But here it basically comes to defining who's responsible for what and have clear boundaries about responsibilities and the task that needs to be done. So I think in general, if you want to create a bug managing strategy, these are the things that you need to consider. And here is my bug managing strategy that I, for example, use myself. So the first step, whenever there is a bug in Candy Crush Saga, the first thing we do is we evaluating the impact. And of course, when we are speaking about impact, there is impact on users. You can actually see how players experience this bug, number of users, how many players experience this bug. Of course, if we, for example, we speak about crash, it can be one person who is crashing 1,000 times or 1,000 people who are crashing one time. I'm not now trying to say what is worse, but it can be different scenarios here. Business impact, of course, we all here to make fun, but at the same time, we need to make money. So you see how much money you're losing because of this bug. And it's also very important to have some context of everything, basically, and to have a good data, so you know what data you are looking at. And the best people to talk to here is data scientist or business performance manager, whatever you call it, the person with data, who has access to tracking, to meaningful data, who knows all the trends and knows how your feature is performing. And here, I will give you, to warm up, I will give you some example. Let's do some exercise. And please write me your answers in chat. That I would be really curious to see what you think actually. So here is the bug. It's a real bug we had in Candy Crush Saga. Is that support for Chinese language is gone from login page. So if you so you log into Candy. If you want to log in to Candy Crush and your phone language is Chinese, you open the login page and you see these weird things here. So my question to you is, do you think this bug worth hotfixing or not? I will just maybe observe a couple of seconds to see if you have any opinions about it. And then, of course, I will reveal my decision and explain why I decided to act in a certain way. So basically, players who have Chinese as their language, yeah, I see not. When they try to log in, they have this, yes, okay, there are different opinions. They see this landing page. Yes, okay. Cool. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I see now. I think your answer is yes. This bug is worth hotfixing. To disappoint you, I need to say that we decided not to hotfix this bug. And here I will explain you why. So, and here I was a little bit cheating, right? I didn't give you any other options. It was just like, is it worth hotfixing or not? I didn't maybe provide you enough data. Yeah, I see here, good point. China is a big market. It's a big market in general, but actually not for us, unfortunately. We have a yes, exactly. It depends on the number of Chinese users. Yes, we have a very few number of Chinese users. Unfortunately, I'm not able to reveal you the exact number because it's a legal issue. I tried and I get no from my legal department. So, but believe me, it's a really small number of daily active users. And this page will be shown only once when you log into Candy Crush the first time. So basically it means people who already playing Candy Crush, even if their phone language is Chinese, they will never see this weird screen because it happens only on login page. So it basically, this bug will affect only Chinese players who are logging in for the first time. And this number is really, really, really small for us would be. This is how we estimated it. On the other hand, when we revealed this bug, our app was already approved by Apple, and the only thing that it was left is just to press the button to release it. There is some process. If you're working with mobile apps, you know that you need to, it takes a couple of days for Apple to review your app. So if we would go for hotfixing this bug, we would need, of course, to create a new build, test it, then upload it to Apple, and then also wait a couple of days. So we decided not to go for it because this version was containing new awesome content for other players and some other fixes for other bugs, maybe not that bad, but also there were some bugs that is nice to fix. And we decided that it's not fair to our other players. So this was our thinking behind it. Here is another example. Pre-level CDA is not working. What is CDA? CDA is this purple button that it says play. So basically, when you want to play a level in Candy Crush, you have two options. You can just play it directly, or you can first watch an ad, get some booster that will help you to beat this level, basically. And we realized that when you press on this ads button, play, nothing happens. It's just something is broken, nothing happens. So here is the question again, if we decided to hotfix it or not. What do you say? So basically they can continue playing it, just the ads option is broken. Tell me what you think. Yes. Okay. Yes, losing money. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. So do you understand correctly? The majority is for fixing this? Yes. Yes, capitalism. Yes, I see. So we decided to hotfix it because of money. Yes, it was because of money first. Also, a lot of people were affected. There are many more ad watchers who are watching ads. And what is the most important thing here, actually, what affected us the most, is that this creates a very, we're teaching our players that this button is not worth clicking. We in Candy doing releases every 2 weeks. So basically this button would be broken for 2 weeks. And as a player, I clicked on it once. I clicked on this second time and like a couple of more times maybe. And then I would just stop clicking on it because I just learned that it's just not working. And if we will fix it in 2 weeks, no one will even notice that it's already fixed. So we decided not to create this bad behavior, not to teach wrong things. We decided to hot fix it. Now, of course, you can think like nasty capitalist. You're only thinking about money, not poor Chinese players. Here, of course, I mean, there is no right or wrong decision. You can go whatever way you want to go. It's just my point is that you need to gather great context, and this context is not something that is just given to you by default. Here's the bug, here's the context. This question that you as a QA person need to answer, you need to ask, need to realize, need to understand, and need to to provide to different stakeholders, to your team, to make this joint decision together. So I mean, no matter what you choose here, you can choose whatever you want. It's just, I mean, you need to have right context, and you need to ask right questions. Of course, after you evaluated how severe this bug is, you need to identify the problem. When I say identify a problem, I don't mean just identify there is a bug. Identify the root cause of this bug. Identify the problem. What caused this bug? And I really want to stress now that you take this as a step number 2 and not a step number 1, because I know some teams tend, okay, you have a bug, you just jump on fixing it right away. I think you need first to think if this bug is important, how important it is. Why do you need to decide it first? Because you will know how many people need to be involved and how much resources do you want to dedicate to it. So first you evaluate how important it is, and only after that you decide how many people, what kind of developers needs to be involved, what kind of other specialists need to be involved in fixing this problem. And of course, when you're fixing this problem, you go like from top down, you try to understand the root cause, and here developers your best friends. You start with, I don't know, customer support, a ticket, or I don't know, Google review, whatever you get this bug from. Then you check, of course, all kind of attack data, crash analytics, breadcrumbs, and identify hopefully root cause. What is good here, and maybe nice to have, that something that will help you to go to the root cause, is of course to have a good tracking of your events. And here I'm not saying like business tracking to see how the feature performs, but to see like developers tracking to see what happens last before, for example, the crash appeared or before something happens. So actually you can see what events are sending that will help you to investigate this issue. Then after you hopefully identify the root cause of it, you need of course to communicate. And communication here needs to happen. You need to have internal announcement, or you need to have also internal communication within your company, within your team. So everyone in your company can understand what's going on. So for example, we in Candy, we're a really big team. We have like a lot of sub teams, and even if not everyone is involved, maybe there are some other features that are interdependent on our bug that we caused by our feature. So we always try to make sure that there is a channel how we communicate with the rest of the company, and there are frequent updates about what we are doing, what are the current status of investigation, where it goes, why we have taken certain decisions, like a decision log, for example. Of course, here you need to find an appropriate way. Maybe you don't need to spam everyone with like what have you found, but these things needs to be easily accessible, and people should know how to access this thing. So for example, maybe there will be a mailing list, maybe there will be a Slack channel. We, for example, have a general announcement, a general incident announcement Slack channel, and then from this channel you can also get different sub channels regarding some specific issue. For example, there was just a Chinese language issue, or there was a CTA button issue, where everyone who is curious how it goes can just go and get the most relevant information. And also, you need to consider have an external communication with your customers, stakeholders, of course, and everyone who would be interested in having this information. And here, your best friends and people who talk to, of course, social media specialists, community manager, people who talking to your customers or players, in our case, regularly. And the tricky part here, not tricky, but it's also important to have in mind to see what channel of communication you choose. So here I will also provide you some example from Candy Crush. So what happened here? As I say, there is this third-party SDKs thing that is provided by our ad providers, who are Google and Facebook. This incident happened with Google. When they released the new version of Chrome, Candy Crush started crashing on Upstart. You try to open the game, it's just crashing. Why it happened? Because in order to support Google Ads in-game, you also need to have a working Chrome. And they in Google somehow forgot to check old versions, like compatibility with the new Google SDK. So new Google SDK and the old Chrome version weren't just working together. And we couldn't do anything about it. I mean, it wasn't the problem only in Candy Crush. It was basically a problem in all games. Maybe if you're working in mobile games, you also remember this incident. It happened not so long ago. And just different games started to communicating to these players, because we knew there is a workaround. You just need to upgrade your Chrome version to the newest version, and then the problem will be solved. So in this situation, we couldn't fix it ourselves. The best thing we could do is to provide the most relevant information to our players, what they need to do. And here, where we did this, we did in our community. We have a community website, a community page, and this is very popular. We know that we are using it a lot. Our players also communicating there with each other. We use this as a source to provide us some feedback, some maybe good ideas. We also sometimes test our things there. I mean, test not like from a quality perspective, but testing from our ideas. So let's see, I don't know, with this new booster, what do you think you should do, this or this, please vote. And they also, so it's basically a living page. So everyone who is playing Candy Crush as a like on a regular basis, they kind of know that it exists. And if you don't play it on a regular basis, it's also, if you would Google Candy Crush, for example, to see what happened, it will be one among the first pages you would see in Google. So we decided this is the best choice, because we kind of taught our players before that in case they need to have some newest or most relevant information about Candy Crush, they need to go to this forum. And we just provided a post there that was visible to everyone. Here is another example that is from Archero. It's not a King game, it's from another publisher here. But it was interesting how they communicated it to players. I'm playing Archero myself, so this is why I observed it. So the way they choose it to communicate was in-game. It was just push notification and in-game message. So you get a push notification, you click on it, and then you can see the message. What is good about the approach in comparison to ours? What is better? What they did better is that they also rewarded player. So of course, for example, if you experience some bad behavior, it's very nice to get some nice reward at the end. So you know why. It's just a nice thing, right? To have some kind of a small excuse. So this was nice. What I'm questioning here is to choose in-game message for this particular issue, because remember, the crash happening on Upstart. So there is a solution. There is notification about bugs and potential solution to this bug in-game, and you cannot access in-game. You cannot go to this game because it's crashing on Upstart. So it's a little bit, of course, you will read this message afterwards, but right now when it is crashing, it's maybe not so useful. So you need to think of what is the best way to communicate about this particular issue. Of course, I mean, it doesn't mean that you always need to go to forum and post it only there. Of course, in-game messages, it will be read probably by many more players if you do it in-game. But in this particular case, when the app is crashing, it shouldn't be your at least only solution that you post all information here and don't post it anywhere at all. And here, another thing that I also pay attention, I play this game in Russian, and all my other messages are in Russian, but only messages about bugs are in English. So if I wouldn't know English, it would be really frustrating for me, right? That I don't even understand what this bug is about and what is this saying. Of course, here we are missing context. I don't know anything about the market. Maybe I'm the only one player who plays it in Russian. Then, of course, it's our Chinese players back again. So maybe in this case, it was totally fine to neglect translations, but it's something that you need to have in mind. Just like to think about. To think about how you communicate, which channel do you use for it. And of course, when you identified a problem, you know what caused it, you need to find a solution. And it is important that you have a certain time frame for yourself, to time box it, time that you can dedicate to find a root cause. Because imagine you cannot fix this bug for 2 years. It's not acceptable, right? And you're not going to be like fixing it for 2 years. So you need to have a clear time frame. Okay, we have this time where we're trying to fix it, and if it's not fixable, then we need to have another solution or plan B. What are we doing if we're not fixing it? I think it's very important to think about this scenario from the exact beginning. So you always think about, okay, it's of course we should hope for fixing the bug, but if we're not fixing it, then what? And if you were thinking it with this plan B in parallel with trying to fix this bug, it will help you to save some resources, to save some time, basically to just to become more productive in case you wouldn't find a good solution to this bug problem. And of course, you need to have dedicated people and person who is working on this bug. And here, the best people to talk to is, of course, the product owner, producer who sets up priorities and who will say what is the most important thing for you right now to work on, and based on that to see how many developers are available. The good tip to have a working plan B is always have your feature kind of sandboxed and kill switchable. So in case something is wrong, you can just easily turn this feature off and it's not dependent. How you as a QA people can influence this? You can influence it during the design phase. So whenever you design your feature, we should ask the question, okay, how we're going to kill switch and make sure that your feature, whenever you test it, it's a very sandbox. It's not dependent on other features, and whenever there is a problem, we can just shut down it. Of course, we might lose some money, but at least our game won't be behaving very weird. It won't become like a domino effect that everything becomes very messy and there are many more bugs in production. So for our game as Candy, that is very big, that is 8-year-old, we really, this is our absolutely must have. All features needs to be shouldn't be dependent on each other, and they should be kill switchable. So in this case, our plan B is, of course, to kill switch, and then you don't need to spend so much time on like developing this plan B, but you need to have this plan B in your pocket in case something goes wrong already from the beginning. And of course, when you, no matter if you go with fixing the bug and it's all fine and nice, or if you decide to not fix it and just kill the feature or do some other solution, after you have done your awesome work and you finalized the bug all good, you either kill the feature or you release the fix for this bug, of course you need to learn. And here I encourage you to have a retro, a really basic retro, what went well, what didn't go so well, and things that you need to improve for the next time when you have a bug. Who do you need to invite to this retro? of course, the whole incident team, people who were fixing these bugs, but also maybe people who were affected by the bug or who were I had to deal with it from different perspective. For example, customer support. Maybe they also have something to say about your communication, or maybe other team members who also have opinion about it. So I encourage to here invite your incident team here as must-haves, as required to go to this retro, and all like the rest of the company as optional. So if they have something to share, they will come. If they don't, they will just skip your invitation. And here, when you have this retro, you need to have basically 2 action points from here. You need to identify steps you take to prevent this bug from occurring again. Of course, we shouldn't have the same bug twice in production. In this case, of course, what can you do? You can write some automation tests or write some guidelines. I don't know if it would happen because of something wasn't integrated properly, just to maybe make sure you have some good guidelines how to, I don't know, write code or how to implement certain features, etc. So basically try to prevent this bug from occurring again. And also you need to improve your bugs managing strategy. So bug managing strategy is not something you created once, you forgot it, I mean not forgot, but like you created once and it's just written in stone, you just follow it. You need to improve it every time there is a bug. You should try to improve it and to say, okay, what I can learn from this bug. And with this approach, you will actually make bugs working for you. This will be, this is how bugs become not scary, but instead becomes your friend, actually. So if there are just 3 things that you would remember from this presentation, I would like to remember that these 3 points, that bugs are normal. It's okay to have bugs. You shouldn't have 0 bugs in production. And because bugs are normal, you would expect bugs to appear at some point. And then you will need to create a strategy how to handle these bugs. And of course, when you need to learn from these bugs. So all of them, of course, are really interdependent, these 3 steps. But if you would do them properly, then you will become a better specialist. Your product would have better quality, and you would become also happy, and your customers will become happy. And this is what matters the most, right? Question time. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Elena, for your talk. I will read questions for you. So let's start from liked question. What was the scariest production bug in history of Candy Crush?
This is I'm not sure if I can maybe speak on about my career, because I have been working at King for 3 years, and the game is it's 8 years old, so I don't know what was the most scariest bug in Candy for all time. In my period, I think for me it's just the crashes that are scariest. It's just, sorry, it's a boring answer. Maybe you were expecting to have something more fun. Yes, we had a crash on HTML5. You can play Candy from Facebook. It's one of the Facebook apps you can play, and we had a crash there, and we didn't know what caused it. And releasing Facebook application always connected with releasing server, and releasing server for me it's a little bit scary. So this is why everything that happens that is on the server side is a little bit scary for me. This is why it was the scariest bug for me. But it's not, I mean, I cannot say, okay, this was the scariest bug and we can extrapolate it to all other games. No, I think it's very individual to different projects.
Thank you for the answer. Thank you, Lima, for the question. Next question is, how many queue switches are in Candy Crush at the moment? How do you manage those?
That's very difficult to say how many, because I mean, maybe we can say how many types. So we have a live ops, and then you can kill live op very easily from outside the app. You have a plugin, and then you can turn off the plugin. And of course, you have an A/B test that can control both, for example, plugin and something else. So in this case, there are different types of kill switches we can talk about, but it's very difficult to say like in numbers. This is a number. How do we manage those? As I say, you just have a good maintenance page where all these things are listed. So we have all our features, for example, there, and A/B test assigned to these features different plugins, how they basically work. So we know how to kill them. If it's ads, if it's related to ads, we also have Slayer messages. We're using Slayer messages to deliver ads. Then we also have these Slayer messages listed. We know how to basically kill the Slayer message, and then this placement will just disappear for you. So I think here is the question of having a good overview page where it's easily accessible by everyone, but on the other hand, it's control who can do things there. So you avoid, for example, newcomers just playing around and all go bananas. It's important to know that people can access it, but maybe not so easy modify it. Yeah, and then you can just, it can be done by easily pressing one button.
Thank you. Next question from Paul. Are there usually more Android bugs in circulation due to inconsistent update releases, or are these more bugs with iOS version?
There is no correlation with the platform. I think in iOS and Android, and depending on Android is so buggy, iOS is so clean. In our case, it's we always try to release Android first, because Android Google Play would allow you to do stage rollout. So you release it to a small population. You see if something is spikes. Then we just do hot fix it or fix it on Android and then release on iOS when we know that Android already proved that its work is fine there. Of course, there can be some platform-specific bugs, but when we're speaking about platform-specific bugs, it's only it happens when it's like, for example, there is a problem on one platform and not on another platform. It's when we're speaking about in-app purchases, because it's different stores, right? Google Store and iTunes, so they handle things differently. And yeah, it's basically that's it. Everything else is the same basically. It can also vary a little bit with third-party SDK for ads, but for iOS and Android, but also they are almost identical, so they are quite similar.
Thank you. Let's go to the next question by Elena. How to persuade the management that bugs are a normal thing?
I believe that all of us humans, and we can talk to each other and people can understand. It also maybe depends a little bit what kind of culture you have in your company. We at King are really open, so we have different. We can just have forums where we can talk, but I think it is how to I mean, you need to talk and you need to explain. We're trying new things, and it's good to try new things because, I mean, we need to release fast, right? So we can get some quick results. So basically, I don't see if there is a problem. Why would they say it's not normal? If they want to new, maybe there is also a question. I face it quite often that your product manager and producer just doesn't know what to measure. They need to have some kind of metrics to see, okay, what do we know if our quality of our product is increasing or decreasing? And this is why, bugs, let's measure bugs. Maybe if you will offer some other solution to say, okay, measuring bugs is absolutely not an option, but we instead can measure this. It can be also option to persuade your producer or product manager to see, okay, we don't care about bugs, but we care about something else. It also just to maybe show your producer that you are not just this, I mean, don't care at all about quality, but to say, okay, there are more important things we can focus on, and we can just let bugs be as soon as we fix them fast, or we find a solution to fix them fast. Because just to having a bug in production, I mean, it's not scary. It's not that something is, I mean, you're not, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are losing money automatically or something. It's just, I mean, it's there, and maybe the word is even scarier than what it actually means.
Thank you. And we have a short time for the last question by Lima. How production bugs are detected? Are players reporting them?
In most cases, when we speak about the big critical bugs, sometimes players report them, but what player report is usually minor bugs sometimes, because a player report for something that they actually try and see, and we usually have a really good testing procedure if we detect these bugs by ourselves doing exploratory testing in the team. The heaviest bugs for us are coming from it's crashes basically, and these are coming from crash analytics. So when we release a feature, we of course monitor how it goes, and then we see new crashes coming on, and then we investigate them. So for us, it's crashes that are coming. That is the most serious things.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your break, and remember to come back at 11:05.
Thank you so much. If you have any additional questions, just write them to my email. Thank you for attending my session.
Right, thank you.